It's time to swarm the 402. Welcome to the Nebraska Hawkeyes. These guys are brave. They're Hawkeyes living in enemy territory. Listen, these guys are way past their prime, but they're still Hawkeyes. They're spreading the Hawkeye hype to all of Nebraska. The frost advisory is canceled. Corn Huskers, more like corn suckers. Are you ready for this podcast? Let's go Hawks!
All right, welcome back to the Nebraska Hawks Nest, your Hawkeye oasis located in a Nebraska desert. We are jacked. We are joined here today by former Iowa Hawkeyes tight end Jake Duzey. Mr. Duzey, how's it going, man?
It's great. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Is it already dark where you're at right now? Like that window looks like it's dark outside.
It's pitch black out. Yep.
Good night. Well, you're in Eastern time zone, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm up in like northern Michigan right now, so it's
okay.
It's nighttime.
Okay, so catch Hawkeye fans up. You were a fan favorite when you were here. Hawkeye fans always, tailgates and talking. They'll always be like, I wonder what so-and-so's up to now. And, oddly enough, at the last tailgate, somebody was like, has anyone heard about Duzey? Like, what's he up to now? Like, how's he doing? So catch all the Hawkeye fans up to, like, what's going on with you now professionally, personally. And, you see, it sounds like you're living in Michigan now. So we're going to be playing those guys here this weekend in the Big Ten Championship. So I know you might be catching some heat on that.
Oh, yeah. I'm already hearing it from everybody. So I'm looking for a good Hawkeye victory come on Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm back in Michigan, kind of close to where I grew up. I got married to my wife about 2.5 years ago. Working for Stryker, selling medical devices. So I think you had Dom on here. So I work in the same division that Dom works in.
Okay.
A couple
He's
other
awesome.
guys, John Laudermilk. So yeah, doing that. I'm playing hooky from work tomorrow. I'm going fishing. That's why I'm up north. So
nice.
But yeah, things are going well. My wife and I just bought a house a couple weeks ago. So just moving in and getting all that ready to go.
All right. So with you going fishing, I'm guessing are you a pretty avid fisherman?
Yep.
Okay. So for a beginner, I have a pretty large size pond in my backyard. A lot of small and largemouth bass in there. And a little bit of catfish. What would be some of the first, entry level tips for a fisherman to have good luck? What kind of tips would you give them?
So my favorite thing, if I go to a place that I've never fished before and I'm looking for bass and I know that there's some in there, throw a wacky worm out there.
Okay.
And like, if there's fish there, they'll eat it. So,
okay.
Try that out. There's a ton of YouTube videos about it, but that's always my go-to.
Okay. So is a wacky worm like one of those fake worms you can buy at a bait shop?
Yep. So I honestly don't even know the name of the brand I get, but there's I think it's a Gary Yamamoto. It's just like this little green Senko worm that you put on your hook. Yeah.
I get so frustrated because I'll go out there and there'll be days where it's like I can't keep the line in the water for more than a minute and I get a bite. And then there's days where I'll be out there for 2 hours, which is nice because it's beautiful out and you get to hang outside and have some beers, but then I don't even get a nibble. And I get so pissed off. But a while back, I need to tell you this story and I'll stop bugging you about fishing. I caught a fish and we had a flood here years and years ago. So some odd fish are in there. And I pull this fish about 3/4 of the way out and my kids screamed. They thought it was a swordfish, but it was a gar. Have you ever seen one of those things?
Really? In Nebraska?
Yes, it came out
Wow.
of the river and like flooded into here. And like we have a couple gars. Those things are nasty.
Yeah, man, those are ugly fish, but
Oh my gosh.
I'm
And he
sure
was
they're fun to
strong.
catch.
He broke the line. So
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
could
able
see
to get
that.
him in. So I was frustrated about that. But every time I got there, I'm like, I want to catch that damn gar. And
That'd be sweet.
I've never battled with him since. So
Yeah.
I want another shot at him. All right, Jake, tell us about your recruitment process out of high school. It looked like you had a lot of MAC type schools after like Cincinnati was knocking a little bit. Walk us through that process. Who was recruiting you from Iowa, and what your impressions were of the University of Iowa football program?
Yeah. So I went to a high school that wasn't really well known for sports. I think I won like 8 games my whole high school career in football. But I had an awesome head coach. He had played at Ferris State in college, and his dad actually played at the University of Iowa. So, he was a huge help in getting me looked at, all that kind of stuff. And he actually mentioned to me one day, he's like, "Hey, let's go out and do a camp at Iowa." It was like I don't even remember what it was, but I was a junior. So we went out there just for a day camp. And like you said, I didn't have a ton of offers, but the places that I went to camps, I ended up getting offers like Michigan State and Oregon and Cincinnati. And then, the same thing, went out to Iowa. Phil Parker was the one that was recruiting me, who's an awesome guy. I mean, my family has always loved him. And he's always been great to me. But yeah, got an offer after that. And then it ended up coming down to them, Michigan State and Oregon. Oregon was a little far away. I was a mama's boy. I wanted my mom to come to the games. Michigan State, just, they talked about putting me at defensive end or something, and wasn't really feeling it. Wanted to get out of Michigan and ended up at Iowa. But from day one, loved it. I mean, like I said, my high school coach's dad played there in like the 60s. They were Hawk fans. And I mean, everything I heard and saw about the program and Coach Ferentz was, exactly what I wanted.
All right, Jake. So talking about your Michigan roots right now, like it would be terrible if we didn't talk about like how much crap are you getting with us playing the Wolverines this weekend in the Big Ten Championship? So I'm going. I bought my tickets. Mike, I couldn't miss it. Like I would be sitting here depressed if I wasn't able to see the Hawks play. What kind of messages are you getting from people out there? Are they on your case pretty bad?
Oh yeah, everyone's telling me that Hawks are going to lose, and it's Michigan's game to win, and whatever. So I would love a Hawks victory, and I can put it to all these people that are talking to me every day. I mean, just when I walk in, I sell medical devices. So like I walked into a hospital today, and I had 3 people be like, "Oh, go Michigan, Hawks suck." I was like, "All right, that's enough." So it should be a good Saturday.
Honestly, though, their fans are pretty cool. Like I've tailgated with about every set of Big Ten fans in the country you can, and they're pretty cool. Like if you go up to Michigan and you go to a game there, you typically don't have to buy a beer. Like they're usually good people. So never had any issues with Michigan fans. They're pretty cool. So, but we did a couple Hawkeye fans we were talking to today. We told them that we were going to be interviewing you, and they want an official prediction from you from the Big Ten Championship, a guy that's been there. Now, you were hurt for that game, but you've been there in that environment. First thing, what's your prediction on the score of how it's going to go? And then also, we really want you to kind of walk us through what that atmosphere and environment is like. I mean, you're on the sidelines, you saw everything up close. You got to live it. Tell us a little bit about what that was like after your prediction.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, like I'm sure everyone's saying, a defensive battle. But I'm going to go Hawks win 21-17. So we're going to have we got to do something special teams wise. Coach Woods, I'm sure, will pull something out, and, they always step up. So, Indy, it's an awesome atmosphere. I mean, like, when you're getting recruited and you're playing college ball, like that's what you dream about, right? Going to the Big Ten Championship in Indy. and when you're finally there, I mean, just rolling up to Indy, it's just an awesome experience. I hope the kids and the guys that are on the team, I mean, they just live it up. It's going to be over quicker than they know it. But yeah, something that, I mean, obviously they're never going to, hopefully they do it again the next couple of years, but usually something that comes around, once in their career. And it's honestly almost unexplainable. It's what you dream about, right?
Yeah, this is going to sound really cheesy, but I'm going to be just straight with you. Been a Hawk fan since I can remember, and since I was in diapers. And when you guys started to walk out of that tunnel and they played the intro video for you guys to come out, like I got emotional. I was like, this is so badass. Like, let's go. I was pretty pumped. So, and it was, we ended up getting the win, but damn, what a good game that was.
Yeah, it was a nail biter all the way till the end. And I still have buddies that, send me that video of that, whoever the running back was, like getting that much over the line.
You didn't hear much from him after that. Like, I don't remember ever hearing about that guy after that, but
no,
and it's like he's just dangling that ball like right there over the line. And it's like
know.
Somebody knocked the damn thing out of his hands, and it just didn't happen. So
yeah.
Oh, you win some, you lose some. Hopefully we get the win this Saturday, though. All right, Jake, you mentioned reference LeVar Woods, and he is a phenomenal coach, a great guy, really starting to get a little bit of like low-level buzz for potential, head coaching career someday. Tell us what you know about Coach Woods and what type of guy and what type of coach he is.
Yeah. Like you said, unfortunately, like my senior year when he coached the tight ends, I was hurt and didn't really get to play for him. But I mean, I was in meetings with him for a full year. He's the one that got me set up with the physical therapist to kind of try to get me back into the game and all that kind of stuff out in Arizona. And like, I still got a text from him on Thanksgiving this year, just, saying he appreciates everything I've done for him and, getting the opportunity to coach me and all that kind of stuff. So just a great guy, awesome coach. He knows the game in and out like no one I've ever met. And he's just fun guy to play with or play for. And again, I didn't get a chance to play that much for him, but like the guys just loved it day in and day out, coming into meetings. He was always in a good mood, always up tempo. No matter what was going on, it was, upbeat.
That's like the epitome of class. Like the guy's still sending you a text message on Thanksgiving. Like that's pretty thoughtful. Like if you're a recruit and you're coming out, you want to play
the Cornhuskers,
Oh man,
it was pretty cool.
That is cool. Now I want to ask you about them too. The Nebraska Cornhuskers. We were able to put a 19-0 fourth quarter stomping on them this year, which was wonderful. I was sweating bullets on that one. I didn't know if we were going to pull that one out. It wasn't looking too promising. But you were able to be a big part of getting that monkey off of our back. You were a part of that team when we were able to beat them. What was that feeling like in the locker room, bringing that Heroes Game trophy in and getting that win against those guys?
It was always awesome. And, once we started playing those guys, you're not really sure what to expect, what kind of like rivalry it would turn into. But it was always fun. I love that stadium. I don't know why I enjoy playing there. But it's always seems to be a good game, tempers flare a little bit, but it usually stays pretty good throughout the game. And and I think it's ended up going to be a great rivalry here moving forward.
It's been developing a lot more. I can tell you, just as a Hawkeye living in Nebraska, it's getting a little bit like, especially the first three quarters of that game, the fans were ravenous. There was blood in the water, and they were like, "We're finally going to get the Hawkeyes," and they were so excited. So
hopefully they got to wait a little bit longer.
I hope so. Hopefully never, or it'll happen someday, but hopefully not for quite a long time. Wanted to move into talking about a little bit about your career after the Hawkeyes. We might bounce around a little bit here. You had a little bit of an opportunity, I believe, as the American Alliance of Football that they got going. Tell us about how you got involved in that and what that process looked like.
Yeah. So after I graduated, I obviously tore my patella tendon again at the end, like in the Rose Bowl. and after that, it was kind of like, okay, well, what's going to happen now? Like, I got my degree. I still want to play football. Like, what do I do? And that's actually when like LeVar is the one that, he's like, you got one shot at this. Let's see what happens. I'll help you out. Who knows what's going to happen with your knee, anything like that. So I was like, screw it. I got 40 years to work. So let's see what happens with football. And, he sent me out to Arizona with his physical therapist and did that stuff. And, got back in shape and came back and did pro day, all that kind of stuff. And ended up, I don't know if many people know this, but I pulled my quad around my 40 at the pro day.
Okay.
So after that, it was like another couple months, and then I had a couple workouts. Went to Green Bay, Detroit, that kind of stuff, and like just didn't really hear a whole lot after that. I got a couple X-rays and an MRI on my knee. I don't know if that like kind of swirled around the NFL or whatnot. But anyway, like somehow, they just like called me one day. They're like, "Hey, you still working out?" And I was still staying in shape. And I had a job. I was actually a financial advisor, and I was looking for something new to do. I was actually interviewing for my job right now with Stryker.
Okay.
And then they're like, "Well, we kind of want to draft you." And I'm like, "Okay, like I'd be down to play. I mean, I got nothing else to do. I don't like my job. I'm looking for a new one." But I got drafted. And then the next day I got offered my current job with Stryker. So it was like, okay, what do I do now? Getting married, all that kind of stuff. So at that point I was like, let's just call it quits and stay in shape, but we're going to hang up the cleats. And that's how my job with Stryker came about.
Right. Well, I mean, that makes sense. You got to do the responsible thing, or getting married and everything like that. So totally get it. I'm sure the wife was supportive of that decision as well. So you've been a part of that great tight end lineage at Iowa. And so we're going to put you on the spot here. So we've had some people tell us like, I want you to ask Jake this. Tell us what he says. So hypothetically, you're the head coach at the University of Iowa, Jake. You got Dallas Clark, George Kittle, TJ Hawkinson, and Noah Fant, and Sam Laporta all sitting on the bench. These are all the firepower you got.
Mm-hmm.
You got to make a play. You got to get a first down, okay? You got 10 yards. Who you putting in there?
Oh, man. I'm going to have to go with you said Dallas Clark, George. Who's the third one?
TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
Noah Fant and Sam Laporta.
All right. So I'm going to have to go with Dallas Clark because he's obviously an Iowa legend. And then George because he's the only other guy that I played with.
Okay.
And then maybe throw Hawkinson in there, put Noah Fant at running back, little 13 personnel.
Okay.
Just get the big boys in there.
So tell us about George. He's the guy's just blown up, especially since he left Iowa, just with his outgoing personality, his love for professional wrestling. He's just, I don't know, he just draws attention. And I don't even think he means to, because he's such a genuine dude with so much energy and passion. What's George like?
Yeah, I mean, what you see is what you get. Like, I don't think he puts a show on for anybody. I mean, that's how he is day in and day out. I mean, the guy's got unlimited energy. And that's how he was in meetings every day. He wasn't obviously to the point he is now. He put on some weight. I think he even got faster than he used to be. But the dude just always ran around full speed. And I don't know how that guy does it day in and day out. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's awesome. It's just, I don't know if you ever got to see that Kingsford commercial with him and TJ. Did you ever see that?
I saw that. Yeah, I was just watching. I don't know if I was watching TV or it pulled up on my computer, but I'm like, oh, what is this? Like, George, what are you doing, man?
It was awesome, and it was cool that he brought TJ with too. So they got to keep the whole tight end U crew together, and so that's freaking awesome. Want to go back just a little bit. You referenced a little bit going to the Rose Bowl. One of the high points in the last 10 to 15 years of Iowa football, going to Pasadena. Tell us about what that trip was like, the preparation for Stanford, and what it was like at practice, behind the scenes, traveling, being in Pasadena, the whole package for an Iowa football player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, going back to a child's dream, we always grew up in the Rose Bowl was like the Big Ten championship. Like whoever won the Big Ten went to the Rose Bowl, So
yeah,
and I grew up a Michigan fan, and I was always watching the Big Ten, and that's the Mac Daddy of them all, right? So
yeah,
you finally get the chance to go there, and obviously it wasn't the outcome that we had hoped for that game, but the experience, like you said, just getting prepared, knowing you're going to play at such like a historical game and historical places, it's pretty awesome.
It was an awesome experience too as a fan, except soon as Stanford threw that first pass to Christian McCaffrey up the middle and he was gone. And I was like, son of a bee. Oh my gosh. Like that guy, I don't know how he didn't win the Heisman that year. That was probably the most spectacular college football player I've seen in person in my life. Just how quick that guy was.
He's fun to watch unless you're on the sideline and playing against him, and then it hurts a little bit.
He is a machine. So, wanted to ask you too. I always think it's really interesting to hear about the leadership group, the players that get named to that, and really take us all as fans and into what the leadership group does, how you get chosen for that, and if you enjoyed being a part of it.
Yeah, so that, I mean, it encompasses everything, not just the play on the field, but off-season workouts and, just being on time and doing things right and, academics, all that kind of stuff. So shoot, I'm getting old. This was a while ago. So I honestly don't even remember who was all on our leadership team, but anyway.
You're not old. Come on. What are you like? Not even 30 yet, barely?
I'm getting there.
You're ridiculous.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're cutting out just a little bit, Jake. There you go. You're back.
Adam?
Yep, I can hear you.
Shoot, yeah, I can't hear you, but if you can hear me,
Yep, keep going. I can hear you.
All right, man. Sorry, you're frozen, but yeah. So it was just a cool experience. Obviously getting voted into that. You got guys that are younger than you that are looking up to you, and you kind of help out guys that are struggling or whatnot. So it was really cool to be a part of, and obviously that was right before I got injured. So it was just a cool experience being able to be someone like that on the team, especially with where we went that senior year of ours.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it seems like we're getting like it's glitchy right now. I don't know if it's me or if it's you or what's going on, but well, it's a good thing because we only got one question left. So we'll ask you this, Jake. If you have any great behind the scenes stories when it comes to like the practice or the locker room or just interacting with the guys, something that like an average fan wouldn't know about that we might get a kick out of. We've heard some good ones in the past.
So like I told you, I'm not a very good storyteller, so I don't want to tell a story and totally screw it up. But I'd say behind the scenes, like I said, being in.
Oh, looks like we lost Jake there. We'll give him here a second here to see if he pops back in or if we've lost him completely. Looks like he's pretty far north up in Michigan. Yeah, we lost him completely. So Jake is pretty far north up in Michigan, doing some fishing. Oh, he's back. Let's see if he is able to get logged back in here. Nope. All right. Well, Jake's having some internet issues. That thing happens all the time with this internet streaming stuff that we do today. So everybody, thanks for listening, and hopefully we get a win this weekend up in Indianapolis against the Michigan Wolverines, and we'll have a Big Ten championship to celebrate. So we'll try to bring Jake back here some other time and talk to him a little bit more. All right, guys, go Hawks.